Good now, whenever and wherever this finds you. This video is the second half of the Trump video made earlier today. It begins with the need to heal the wound of the past and address how that has carried over into becoming systemic racism in today's culture. So it starts out where we need to heal the wounds of the past. But before we move on, we must deal with the shadow that Trump has exasperated. The country patted itself on the back when we elected Obama twice, thinking that we had overcome systemic racism. And clearly we had not. There was a strong undercurrent of resistance. And when Trump came, he just put that on steroids, and now it is out of control. Yesterday, I had an enlightening conversation with my friend of color, and we explored why it is that people of color seem to be happier and more bonded than white people. And I suggested that's because people of color have a shared experience of oppression. And where white people have an experience of privilege. Of course, this is all anecdotal, and I'm basing it on my experience of my youth, and we were still segregated. Basically, they integrated to high school when I was in the 10th grade. And the people of color, they had a place called the beachfront. And on Friday night, they would all gather at the beachfront and they would party and have a good time. Well, on Friday night in the white part of town, we had what we called a mall. It was a divided street that ran through the center of town, and it was a mile long. It was the mile-long mall. And we would drive around and around that, go up, circle through the A&W and back around, trying to hook up. This led me to believe that people of color are happier and more bonded. I did have an experience of this when I was being hounded by the draft, and I grew my hair long, and I was considered the counterculture and an outcast in my own community. So I got a sense of what it's like to be dismissed. And of course, I could cut my hair and change my tune, and I'd be right back in the fold. Whereas that's not ever going to happen for people of color. The point is that when we saw each other, it was instant connection. It was bonded. And I've looked for that for my whole life, to find that time when we were bonded. And what I just recently realized is that I don't bond because I'm still indoctrinated with this white supremacy. Well, I've spent a lifetime addressing my indoctrination about white supremacy and systemic racism. I only recently realized that I have the indoctrination of capitalism, and even though I know there's a better way, the voices in my mind are still carrying that same "we can't, we have to, capitalism is the number one system. And it's like, no, we don't. Communism is, well, I beat the communism one. I don't, I'm not afraid of communism anymore. I kind of like it. But all these words and labels have been so tainted and so misused, and they've lost their very meaning. And so for me, what I look for is the new words they're using, like this deliberative democracy. And that's where the people gather into assemblies of randomly selected people, and then they discuss with uh, information and facilitation. They discuss the issues of the day, and they come up with solutions and suggestions that we all can live with. I'm going to leave it there, in where we've gone from looking at systemic racism to coming to a new form of deliberative democracy, where the people replace the representatives as our form of government. And I hope you have enjoyed this, or at least gained something from it. I know it's a process for me now of really taking a look at these beliefs that I've just uncovered. I mean, they've been there all my life, but they feel uncovered to me because they're unconscious and they're being brought into the light. And I'm very grateful for that. And I feel like I'll be free, more free than ever. So thanks for watching, and I hope you liked it. And I'll see you on the next one.